The sun had barely risen over Washington, D.C., but the corridors of power were already buzzing with tension. The President of the United States in the Oval Office, flipping through a stack of economic reports, while steel and aluminum tariffs dominated the conversation. Across the country, industrialists and policymakers braced themselves for what was to come. In the sprawling steel mills of Pennsylvania, workers wait for the latest news to unfold. Where do we even get our steel from, one could ask? The answer is more complex than many realized. Nearly a quarter of all steel in the United States is imported, much of it from neighboring Mexico and Canada, as well as longtime allies like Japan, Germany, and South Korea. Canada and Mexico alone accounted for almost 40% of all U.S. steel imports. Just last year, the U.S. had imported 6.6 million net tons of steel mill products from Canada and another 3.5 million from Mexico, as reported by the Census Bureau and the American Iron and Steel Institute. Beyond North America, Brazil stands as the second largest source of U.S. steel imports. Yet, despite being the world's largest steel producer and exporter, China contributed very little to the American market. That had not always been the case. When 25% tariffs were imposed in 2018, Chinese steel was effectively locked out, redirecting global trade flows and reshaping the industry. The aluminum industry faced a similar reality. Roughly half of all aluminum used in the U.S. was imported, with Canada providing the lion's share, 3.2 million metric tons last year alone. That number was double what the next 9 countries combined had exported to the U.S., according to the Department of Commerce. The United Arab Emirates followed as the second largest supplier at 347,000 metric tons, with China trailing at 223,000 metric tons. Despite America's industrial might, its aluminum smelting industry was relatively small on a global scale. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, domestic smelting capacity accounted for just 1.7% of the world's total. That reality left the U.S. heavily reliant on imports, a fact that weighed on policymakers as they debated the implications of new tariffs. Back in Washington, the administration is in deep thought. The decision at hand was not just about trade. It was about power, jobs, and the future of American industry. As steelworkers in Pennsylvania and aluminum smelters in Kentucky wait for the next move, the country braces itself for yet another economic shift in an ever-changing global landscape. Bella Woods, my independent commentary for Skilling's Mining Review.